Show me how to feel under your control. Everything is real, so hit me.
Hey guys, Six Russian here. So today we're going to do something just a little bit different. We're going to be beefing the bike up. Let's go ahead and get rid of these old cans. Well, before we do that, let's do a quick sound check to kind of see how they still sound. And then we can go ahead and take everything apart and put on that new exhaust. As you can hear, the bike sounds alright. It's still loud, but doesn't have that R1 personality to it. So we definitely have to add that. First thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take off the seats. Of course, take off the passenger. You just put in your key, turn that, and get that removed. Under the passenger seat, there is this little tool that's hiding there. What you do is you take that tool and you reach behind your main seat. There's two bolts. We'll go ahead and undo those and go ahead and take those off. So after we have the seat removed, there's going to be on both sides these Phillips screws. Basically, they're like a quarter turn quick release screws since this is like a track replica bike. So we'll go ahead and undo those. And then if we take a look underneath, you just push down on the little center of these pins and they will come right out as well. We come over here to the back. We take our 3mm Allen. We'll go ahead and get this bolt unscrewed as well. And then we can go ahead and get the whole panel pulled off. Getting this whole piece pulled off can be a little bit challenging. You have to force it just a little bit. Don't worry, as long as you're not like bending the piece in half, you should be fine. It'll just come right off. Once we have that off, you'll notice that little locking mechanism is still attached. Basically, if you just give it a pull and pop it off this little section, just turn this, and that whole piece will just come right off. That way you can take a 12mm socket and we can go ahead and undo these two bolts. There is 3 clamps that we need to go ahead and loosen up. We can go ahead and take that exhaust apart in all the different pieces. What we can do is we can use our 5mm Allen to go ahead and take this bolt out. That'll make the catalytic converter way easier to remove. And then we can go ahead and remove the actual right side rear sets with a 6mm Allen. We can go ahead and move them off to the side. Then you'll need a 15mm wrench, and that way we can go ahead and loosen up the O2 sensor, and then the whole assembly will come right off. We can go ahead and kind of pull it out. Now that we have the cat out, basically this piece right here, we'll be able to switch that over to the Y pipe on the new exhaust. Then we can just go ahead and get that bolted up right here with our 5mm Allen. And that way it can kind of hold this while we get the bottom all situated. So now putting everything basically back together in the opposite order. What I actually did is I pre-wind the O2 sensor a little bit, and then I can go ahead and use that 15mm wrench to go ahead and get it nice and snug. And then we can get basically the rest of the exhaust lined up. Once lined up, you can go ahead and get the bolt started on each side. Basically, once these cans get there, we can go ahead and get this bolt nice and snug. Of course, don't tighten anything just yet. We just want to make sure we get everything lined up, and then we can go through everything and get everything tightened down. We can go ahead and tighten up this 5mm Allen bolt, as well as use these 13mm socket and wrench to go ahead and get this part tightened down. That way the white pipe is going to be nice and solid and not moving. And then we can go ahead and move on to all of the clamps. So we do have 2 clamps right over here that we need to go ahead and tighten. And then we also do have a clamp down at the bottom of the white pipe. I did manage to break mine, so just make sure you don't over tighten these bolts. sometimes they're not the best. Once we have all the clamps tightened, we can go ahead and come back and get these two bolts tightened back up, and then we can go ahead and put on the back cover. Basically what we'll do, we'll get this lock portion lined up as well. We'll go ahead and slide that in there, and then this just clicks right back into this little slot right here. Then once we have that attached, we can make sure that the lock is working, and then we can go ahead and attach the rest of this piece. This will just go ahead and get lined up, and then it slides on there. Basically just a reverse of how we're getting this all torn apart. So we'll go ahead, make sure get this all aligned together. We'll go ahead and put in these two quick release screws up top, and then put the pins down at the bottom as well. So now we can go ahead and put the last bolt up top, which is going to be this 4mm Allen. And before we head out, let's go ahead and pull out that 6mm and go ahead and get those rear sets attached back to the bike. So now that it's all back together, we can go ahead and do a quick startup. Oh man.
So hit me.